This video is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Stay tuned until after the video to learn how you can save 10% off of your order. Hey, what's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to this edition of The Fuel, where today we're going to be talking about the 2025 Bommarito Automotive Group 500 from WeatherTech Raceway, or WTT Raceway, whatever the fuck it's called, Gateway, whatever you want to call it. You know, I was quite disappointed with this race because I wasn't able to watch it live because it was on a Sunday night and I had to work. And there were a lot of people on social media that were saying this was a great race, you know, unbelievable race, probably the best race that we've had all year. I didn't see it. I mean, I don't know what the hell everybody was watching, but this race was nowhere near what everybody was saying it was. I mean, a lot of times this race was boring as fuck. Not because I was watching it on YouTube to take the notes for this shit, and it got to the point where I was actually going to the settings and speeding it up because it was just that fucking boring. I mean, other than a couple of crazy incidents, there isn't really a whole lot to write from this race. There really isn't. So let's go ahead and get into it and get this over with. So, 2025 Bommarito Automotive Group 500 from WWT Raceway, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Will Power starts on the pole. You know, a lot of people were saying that this was going to be Penske's weekend. At the beginning it looked like it. By the end of it, nah. 260 laps was the distance for this race. David Malukas gets a great start, has a great move down the backstretch, and actually takes the lead on lap 1. So David Malukas, after sitting on the sideline all last year, starting to come into his own a little bit. Connor Daly, though, man, you want to talk about start of the year. Started 15th, and in 3 laps was up to 7th. Like, he was on the move. Then we got our first caution on lap 4 when Devlin DeFrancesco backs it into the wall in turn 1. He thought his day was done, but he actually got the car. The team actually got the car repaired. We have a restart on lap 11 with Malukas as the leader. Daly gets by Kirkwood for 5th. Daly had a fast car at the beginning of this race, and then while they were getting DeFrancesco's car repaired, he was actually running back towards the car, and a cameraman was following him. DeFrancesco came to a stop right in front of the cameraman. The cameraman didn't notice in time and basically had to make a crazy avoidance and actually fell to the ground. Yeah, not the first time this season that a Fox cameraman has fallen flat on his face or right on his ass. Remember what happened at Daytona when Bubba Wallace won that race and the cameraman was trying to get panning shots and fell on his ass? Yeah. Daly gets by O'Ward for the 4th position. Newgarden gets a twofer on O'Ward and Daly for 4th. And then we get our second caution on lap 47 when Will Power goes into the wall in turn 4 with a flat right front tire. So the first of the Penske boys falls in this race. And we get pit stops. Scott McLaughlin wins the race off pit road. Christian Rasmussen's car was on fire briefly as he came off of pit road, but thankfully the fire went out. But as a result, they didn't get all the fuel in the car. We have a restart on lap 58 with McLaughlin as the leader. Ferrucci was up to 9th after starting 19th. Felix Rosenquist was penalized for an unsafe release, and Christian Lundgaard was penalized for reversing in the pit lane because he missed his pit box. Newgarden gets by Malukas for 2nd. Rasmussen pits on lap 86 due to having a shorter fuel load due to the fire in the pit lane. McLaughlin gets held up by lap traffic, allowing Newgarden to try to pounce for the lead, but McLaughlin holds him off for now. Newgarden pits as him and McLaughlin catch lap traffic on lap 100, hoping to get ahead on the undercut as green flag stops begin, and it works. Newgarden and Malukas get ahead of McLaughlin on the pit stop cycle. Nolan Siegel gets penalized for blocking McLaughlin down the backstretch because he's trying to keep him from passing him and putting him a lap down. This also resulted in something that I talk about on Burnt Rubber this week. So if you want to know more about that, go watch that episode. You'll know which one it is. Because race teams nowadays are pretty fucking soft, I'll tell you that much. Award nearly loses it off of turn 2 but saves it. Then we get our third caution on lap 131, and this was by far the scariest moment probably of the year so far. Louis Foster pushes up and into the wall in turn 4, breaks the right rear toe link, causing him to spin out back across the track right in front of race leader Joseph Newgarden, and Newgarden goes for a wild ride. Nearly goes over the damn pit wall, lands on his roof, but thankfully with the halo and all that other shit, the MR safety team were there within seconds, and they were able to put the car back right side up, and he got out of the car and was fine. So definitely the scariest incident of the year so far, at least in my personal opinion. Some pit stops happen over this caution. Then we get a restart on lap 150 with O'Ward as the leader. Frucci and Herta were making some serious contact on the restart. Some tire smoke was flying. Normally something you would see in a NASCAR race. But Connor Daly challenges O'Ward for the race lead and takes it going into turn 1 for our first pure lead change of the day on lap 154. After Daly pulls out a bit of a gap, O'Ward begins to close back in for the lead. Rasmussen is now charging at this point towards the front on this run. He was up to 6th on lap 28, up 12 spots since the restart. So he had a fast car at this point in the race as the sun has gone down now. Daly pits in the lead on lap 191. O'Ward in 1 lap later as pit stops begin en masse. And O'Ward jumps Daly on the pit stop cycle, but then right in the middle of green flag pit stops, we get our fourth and final caution on lap 196 when Malukas slides up into the wall in turn 4, but is able to keep going, doesn't damage the car. So not sure that yellow was needed. It seemed like the officials were a little bit trigger happy on this one. So we have our final restart on lap 207 with the leader being Scott Dixon. Pretty much at this point, everybody had one more pit stop to go, although there were several that tried to go the rest of the way on fuel. There were contact between several cars on a crazy restart. McLaughlin on pit road, and what appears to be some kind of mechanical problem. They were looking at the rear of the car. So he is out of this race. That means all 3 Penske cars would fall from this race as their year from hell continues. So final pit stops begin. Kirkwood pits with 26 laps to go. Dixon pits with 23 to go, and then O'Ward 1 lap later. Kirkwood is able to jump Dixon on the pit stops. Yes, Kyle Kirkwood is only won on street courses in his entire career and is now about to win his first oval race. Callum Ilott, as well as Rosenquist, try to make the fuel stretch all the way to the end. Rosenquist is able to pass Ilott for the race lead since they were on the same strategy. This will count as a pure lead change, so Rosenquist takes the lead on lap 250. But Kirkwood was closing fast. He was closing in at about a second a lap on Ilott and Rosenquist with less than 10 laps to go. But as it turned out, it wouldn't be necessary. Rosenquist pits for fuel with 7 laps to go, and then Ilott has to pit for fuel with 4 laps to go. So Kirkwood inherits the lead. O'Ward tries to close in, unable to do so. Rasmussen was battling him hard for second in the closing stages of this race, but wasn't able to quite get there. And Kyle Kirkwood wins the Bommarito 500 for his 3rd win of the year, his first on an oval. And we're 8 races into this season, we still only have 2 winners. It's been Alex Palou and Kyle Kirkwood. That's it. But Paddle Award finishes second. I think it's his second runner-up finish of the year. And Christian Rasmussen, his first career podium finish. So good job bringing that Ed Carpenter Racing number 21 home in the third position. So, here are the race results. Top 10 results for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Kyle Kirkwood with the win, his third of the year. I believe his fifth career win overall. Paddle Award finished half second back in second. Rasmussen right behind him in third. Scott Dixon basically had to use some strategy to get up to the front because he didn't really have a fast car, but sneaks out another top 5 finish. Santino Ferrucci in fifth, another top 5 run for him. Connor Daly probably thinking what could have been, because he had a fast car at the beginning of this race. Basically got caught on that final caution during pit stops. Ends up 6th. Renus VK in 7th. Alex Palou in 8th. Palou, not his usual strong self, but again, this is an oval, but he still comes home with a top 10 finish. Of course, the next race is at Road America, so we'll look for him to be back on top as usual. Marcus Armstrong in 9th, and Robert Schwartzman, the rookie, and the rookie team, Prima Racing, their first ever top 10 finish. So, hell of a day for Robert Schwartzman and Prima Racing. Which brings us to the point standings. Alex Palou obviously still holds the lead, but his points lead has shrunk even more. With Paddle Award finishing second and him finishing 8th, the gap is now 73 points. It was 113 just a couple races ago. So this championship is not quite done. Kyle Kirkwood, with his third win of the year, is at 260, and you might be asking yourself, why is he third in points behind Paddle Award? Well, let's not forget he was penalized at the Indianapolis 500 for a post-race tech inspection and was basically disqualified and sent to the back of the field for that race. So he essentially only scored 10 points from that race. So he lost a lot of points. And I think he was top 10 or top 5. So he lost a shit ton of points. If not for that penalty, he'd be second and not as far behind as he is right now. Then you have Christian Lundgaard in 4th, Scott Dixon in 5th, Felix Rosenquist, Will Power, who's tumbled all the way to 7th, Scott McLaughlin, Colton Herta, and Marcus Armstrong, rounding out the top 10 in the IndyCar Series Championship standings. As for my final rating for this race, this was disappointing. You know, there was a lot of people hyping this race up, you know, after it was done. I was like, wow, this must have been a good race. This race was a fucking nothing burger. You know, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the New Garden crash, or I don't know if it was the fuel mileage strategy at the end, but there was nothing of salient value really from this race. Like, a lot of the time it was fucking boring as shit. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I just did not enjoy watching this race. I mean, I was basically fast forwarding it a lot of times. Like, that's how fucking boring it got. I'm not saying that there weren't all bad things in this race. There were some interesting spots, but it didn't live up to the hype of what people were doing or talking about on social media during the past couple days. So, my final rating for this race, it's a 4. I'm going to go on my Bret Hart shit and give it a 4. It wasn't that good. I'm not going to say it's the worst thing in the world, but it did not live up to the hype whatsoever. But that's IndyCar for you, with the stupid ass hybrid system that they got in place, and you know, it's whatever at this point. But anywho, that's going to do it for this week of reviews here on The Fuel. Got another week of them slated for next week, and they will include the IndyCar Series review from Road America, and also the Salem 6 Hours at the Glen for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. And then sandwiched in between will be 3 more lower tier IMSA reviews. So, lots and lots and lots of content coming to this channel. And of course, I've still got spare parts as well, and the newly rebranded eRacing United Overdrive. I'm going to be running in the IndyCar series that they got running on one of their leagues. So, yeah, lots of content coming to this channel here in the next couple of months. And I've still got a shit ton of content to do for Isaac the Survivalist. So, yeah. It's going to be busy for me for the next little bit for both of my channels. For both of my active channels, I should say. But that's going to do it for this edition of The Fuel. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, this is the PackerMan signing out. See you later. And hit like and subscribe. Hey, what's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan letting you know that tonight's video was sponsored by Reaper Apparel Company. By clicking on the affiliate link down below in the description box, you'll be able to browse through many of their different wares, such as hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and other cool items. When you place an order and you go to checkout, be sure to type in the code PackerMan and you'll be able to save 10% off of your order. Reaper Apparel Company. Apparel to die for. Hey, ladies and germs, just want to say thank you for watching tonight's video. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and also check out my other channels, Isaac the Survivalist and Our Honor Defend Archives, if you're a Buckeye fan. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.